Hello and welcome to Next Trends. This is a comparative video of the two 00 gauge HSTs, the old HSTs. The one on the left is the Lima HST, which was released around in the 1970s and 1980s. This is the old Hornby HST. I'm not sure of the age of this, but this is one of those made in England ones. Right. So at first glance, both of these HST units look the same, but on subsequent glances you will notice that there are some subtle differences. I thought of making this video because the Lima one is now released as the Hornby Railroad range. So let's have a quick comparison of this. Now, as you can see, the livery application is quite different. The Lima one is having lighter shade of yellow as compared to the Hornby one. Then coming to the blue shade, it's vice versa. The blue shade on the Lima one is slightly darker than the old Hornby version. Then you can see the way the wipers are have been picked up. Now the Lima one is better, and even the light lens is on the Lima one is better covered and better positioned as compared to the older Hornby one. There's a slight gap on both the sides on the lenses, so the Lima one does not have such issues. Whereas the rivet detailing in the lower section of the unit is better on the Hornby one rather than on the Lima one. Moving to the roof, you can see some more subtle differences on the roof as well as on the sides. So I'll go by the roof first. So the roof, as you can see, the Lima roof has higher protrusion, and whereas in case of the old Hornby one, it's just the flat surface. The exhaust system is different on both of the units. I believe that Lima is a better representation of that, but even this variation might be there in the real life, the Hornby one. But I seem to be liking this detailing on the roof. Okay, now coming to the sides, just moving it a little bit apart so you can see. Okay, still I hope it's focusing. Okay, now I would like to move from the rear unit to the front. Now the Lima one does not have any windows, whereas the Hornby one has. I believe there was some differences even in the real life HSTs. The earlier ones, I believe, had the windows in the luggage compartment, whereas the later versions did not have. So it's I don't have an issue with that. But again, I personally seem to like the way Lima has modeled the HST. Now moving on to the grills. Now the grills are better represented by the Lima one rather than the Hornby one, as you can see the crossbars or the cross grills are more evident on the Lima one rather than on the Hornby one. The cross grills, all grills are better picked up by the Lima version. Even the side grills are better picked up on the Lima one in comparison. The door seems to be a bit larger or broader, slightly on the Hornby one rather than on the Lima one, even if I place it the other way around. Let me see. Yeah, there's a minor variation, slight by few mils. The door on the Hornby one is larger, and the bogie detailing is better on the Lima one according to me. Now the Hornby one is a bit chunky actually, and it does create some occasional problems on the points, on some of the points on my layout, because of the way it is been modeled. Now the Hornby one tends to have some kind of a catch onto the one which pivots and rotates around the points. It's the same with the initial the front bogie. It has some kind of a catch here on both the sides, which does create problems occasionally on points and turnings. Whereas the Lima one is it has got a center pivot point or center point, and otherwise it's free to rotate freely. So the Lima one runs far better on my layout than the Hornby one because of the way it is modeled. Now another important factor of these two models is the Hornby one has these lugs, whereas the Lima one, it is secured by screws on the bottom, one here and one here. The shell is held by the screws and there are no lugs here. So that makes the Lima model look much better. Coming to the rear side, so the detailing is again fairly basic. Just turning the model around. Okay, so we have left the Lima one and the Hornby is on the right. So given the Hornby one has windows in the luggage compartment, there is a window here as well for that. The rear seems to be better modeled by Hornby. There are some wire detailings and warning sign panel, though it is not painted up, and it's just a plain black on the sides of the Lima. None of this model actually came with the hook. I have just added the hook because I had issues with the train or the locomotive running away, so I thought of adding a piece of small metal, twisting it to shape and making scratch building this hook. So now the runaway problem has been solved by adding this hook. Right, overall underframe detailing is better on the Lima one than on the Hornby one. And the other side is basically identical. Okay, another important aspect is the Hornby has picked up the guard lettering on both the sides, whereas Lima has not done that. I'm not sure whether the current Hornby Railroad version is going to have the guard lettering missing or whether it's going to be there. I'm not sure of that, but basically it's the same. Now coming back to the Lima coupling issue, what used to happen was this part of the bogie, this one, used to drop and cause the coupler on the carriages to disengage, and it used to cause a runaway problem. The locomotive used to run in one direction and the coaches used to either remain stagnant or just roll off in the other direction. So the addition of this hook has solved the problem basically. But I hope this the way the coupler is mounted is not continued the same way in the Hornby Railroad range. I hope they have changed the coupling. They have done some minor changes. They added some NEM pockets, but I do not know whether the NEM pockets that Hornby Railroad range has used is going to bend just like the Lima ones did over a period of usage. Other aspect to highlight is that the Hornby Railroad ones, the dummy unit does not have any lights. The power car does have lights, just like the Lima power cars. So the Lima power cars back in those days had the incandescent bulbs. It is the yellow lamp. Now this is the dummy Hornby unit actually, and I'm not sure whether it is lit or not. It doesn't light on the tracks, as I had bought both of these second-hand from eBay. So the dummy one, the Hornby one, does not. The lights are not working. But on inspection, there are some wires going through the sashes. I can see some wires there inside. So maybe there is some kind of lighting. It may be some of the contacts are not working or just need rewiring, refixing. I might do it at some point and try to fix the lights on the dummy Hornby HST. So that's it for now. So before closing this video, in my opinion, I would like to, my personal opinion is, I like the Lima HSTs over the older Hornby HSTs, for the reason that these are far better detailed, better model, even though they are quite old. But the Lima one, the Hornby one seems to be even older one. So it's so in my opinion, it's going to be the Lima version of the HST. The way they have replicated the yellow, blues, and all the other overall detailing of the HST. Another aspect of these two units is that the Lima one has a dome shaped on the top end of the cab, whereas the HST one is slightly flatter end on the cab. You can see this quite evident. This is flatter and this is kind of dome shaped. So that's it for now. Thank you for watching Nick's Trains. Please share, like and comment.